and when we think about this level one, part of it is, I mean, I've been doing this for a very long time, so I'm a little bit more up in the, sort of the advanced levels, but I really want to encourage people who have a fear of drawing to know that the quality of your marks that you make has nothing to do with the effectiveness of using drawing as a method of communication. Like whatever the idea is, he'll sort of figure out what the word is that he's trying to express within an idea, put it in a bubble, and all of a sudden he's taken, his sort of like that's, and then it's like, all right, so this bubble relates to this bubble like this, and here's sort of what we want to say here, and then here's what we're putting here, and pretty quickly, his primary method is this kind of word cloud method, but as you start to put the ideas together, all of a sudden you have a pretty good understanding of the ecosystem that he's talking about. And he's gone from just, essentially just using these dots and lines in this sort of level one area to start to put them together in what we like to call a framework, right? Now this framework can contain these ideas in a way that allows us to start to understand things and talk together. And so you just became a visual thinker because instead of just using words, you're kind of using words as these little nuggets of information. You have to understand this in the course of the sentence and the paragraph and the bullet point. No, you can just pull it out and make it more or less like a sticky note. Like that's the reason that you see our design thinking, visual thinking people covering boards with sticky notes is not because they're colorful and fun. We do always recycle, but it's because you're externalizing your thinking, right? Yeah. You're taking the idea out of yourself and giving it a point where now we can collaborate and think on it and talk about it. Yeah. So these sort of first elements of level one, we kind of think about just for real-time engagement, for getting people to connect around a shared idea. Using these lines and arrows and circles is pretty much what I've been doing. A lot of what we've been doing today. I've been doing a couple of drawing. Yeah, I think part of what we're talking about here is using the pen to connect ideas in a way that's going to draw people through your content so that your story unfolds. We'll talk a little bit more about how we organize good stories, but a lot of times what Explain is often trying to do is help people come to a visual picture that explains where they're trying to go. So a lot of that kind of visual vision that people can see and align around that image, and there's a rhythm to that image where we're often trying to think, when I'm thinking about building those kind of images, first I think about like, what's the most important thing? What's the thing I want them to remember? Well, I make that the thing that really stands out. And then I make sure that there's a connection to the other parts of that image, so that we're going to look over here and look at this next, and look over here and look at this next. But we're kind of taking people's eye through the things that we think are critical and moving them along as we talk about them. So as we kind of talk about these things, and these, these little images that I have here are a few of my visual library images that I've drawn so many times that just sort of like can do them pretty quickly. Yeah. And that way you're not you're not relying on the sexy animated reveal inside the PowerPoint, right? The sort of like, oh, now it's this idea, now it's this idea, and it in some ways that can almost get to a level of distraction from what you're trying to tell them, as opposed to just like say, hey, this is the thing we're going to talk about now.